All right, today we are jumping into Genesis chapter 11. Now, at first glance, you might think it's just a family tree, right? A long, kind of dry list of names and numbers, but I promise you, hidden inside this ancient genealogy is an incredible story. A story about time, change, and a family standing right on the edge of destiny. So let's go find it.
So that's the big question, isn't it? What are we really looking at here? Is this just some dusty old record meant to connect one famous ancestor to the next? Or is this whole list a narrative in disguise? A story told not with battles and speeches, but with data? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
So let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in a world that's been, well, washed clean. The Great Flood is over. Humanity gets a do-over, a fresh start. And this is the world that Shem, one of Noah's sons, is born into.
Okay, I want you to think of this chapter less like a list and more like a bridge. It's a purposefully built structure designed to carry us, the readers, across 10 full generations. It takes us all the way from that legendary post-flood world right to the front door of a man named Abram.
And this bridge begins on an absolutely epic scale. The text says Shem lived for 600 years. Just let that sink in for a minute. This man was a living connection to the world before the flood. For centuries, he watched humanity start all over again. It sets this incredibly mythic tone for everything that's about to follow.
And that epic feeling, it just keeps on going. For the first few names we get on our list, there's this pattern of extraordinarily long lives, which gives you this sense of immense stability and almost unimaginable stretches of time.
I mean, just look at this timeline. After Shem's 600 years, his son Arphaxad lives for 438. Then his grandson Shelah, 433. His great-grandson Eber lives for 464 years. We're talking about men whose lives span nearly half a millennium each. It's wild. And the text describes every single one of them with this exact same rhythmic formula. This repetition isn't lazy, it's totally deliberate. It creates this steady beat, like a drum marking the march of time. And it gives us this very consistent set of data for every generation.
But, as we keep moving down this list, that steady drumbeat starts to change. Something pretty curious begins to happen with all that data. And that epic, mythic scale, well, it starts to shrink.
So as we look at the next few names in this lineage, I want you to keep a close eye on those lifespans. What's the trend you start to see? What's happening to the numbers?
And then we hit Peleg, and bam, the numbers just shift dramatically. He lived 239 years, which, okay, is still a really long time, but it's a massive drop from the 400-plus years of all his ancestors. The pattern has officially been broken.
And it doesn't stop there. Just a few generations later, we meet Nahor, who lived for only 148 years. So this decline isn't just happening, it's speeding up, it's accelerating.
When you see it laid out like this, it's just undeniable. From Shem's monumental 600 years, all the way down to Terah's 205, the trend is crystal clear. See? This isn't just a list of names anymore. It's a story about a world that is fundamentally changing, becoming a lot more familiar, more human-scaled.
So as the numbers get smaller, something else happens. It's like the camera lens of the narrative starts to zoom in. That wide, sweeping view of generations begins to narrow, to focus on one specific and very pivotal family.
And here's the crucial point. For 9 straight generations, the text followed that super strict formula, naming only one son to carry the line forward. But with the 10th generation, a man named Terah, that rigid pattern just shatters. For the first time, the text doesn't give us a single heir. It gives us 3 sons, Abram, Nahor, and Haran. All of a sudden, the story isn't just a vertical line moving down through time anymore. It's about to become a horizontal story about a family of brothers.
And this, right here, is the great pivot of the entire chapter. We are officially moving out of a genealogy, a simple lineage, and into a complex family drama that is going to set the stage for, well, pretty much everything that follows.
The text basically announces this shift itself. After meticulously listing out all of Shem's descendants, it kind of hits the reset button and says, this is the account of Terah's family line. It's telling us, hey, pay attention, this is where the real story is about to begin.
So let's meet the main players, shall we? We've got Terah, he's the patriarch. We have his sons, Abram and Nahor. And then there's the third son, Haran, who tragically dies young, right in his hometown of And he leaves behind a son of his own, named Lot.
So right out of the gate, we have family drama and loss.
The narrative then zeroes in on the two surviving brothers, Abram and Nahor. They both get married. Abram marries Sarai, and Nahor marries his niece, Milcah. The text sets them up right next to each other, like a direct comparison. Two branches of the family ready to grow. But then, it drops a bombshell.
After this meticulous 10-generation-long story that has been completely focused on fathers having sons to continue the line, we finally arrive at our main character, Abram, and his wife, Sarai, was childless. The entire purpose of this whole genealogy, the promise of future generations, has just hit a brick wall.
And at this exact moment of crisis, the patriarch, Terah, decides to move the whole family. They pack up and leave with a very clear destination in mind, the land of Canaan. But for whatever reason, they never actually make it. They stop halfway and end up settling in a place called Harran. The journey is left unfinished.
And it's there, in that state of limbo, in that place of almost but not quite, that the man who started the journey, the final link in our 10-generation chain, dies. The family is stuck, their leader is gone, and the promised line is in serious jeopardy. And that's where we end. What started as this very predictable rhythmic list of names has completely transformed into a story that is just packed with tension. The bridge has been built, but it looks like it leads to a dead end. We have an unfinished journey, a barren matriarch, and a promise that's just hanging in the balance. The question the text leaves us with, the question that changes everything, is what happens now?